whole time, calling her a snake. And then she's saying you advertise for Boot Barn or Dress Barn. Like, come on. Like it that's like standard. And when they come on these shows and say, guys, let's not fight and let's not. No, I like when Uba calls Jessel basic. That's funny. So they're
Yeah.
like, they don't say that. It's like, that's Housewives. Like,
It is Housewives. I just don't understand. First, it's the same production company. It's the same production company. So I don't understand. Like, the difference is Meredith, and I say this all the time. Meredith is like off center. Lisa, but like these people are batshit off center in the best way possible. Like Meredith
ew.
Marks to me, I'm so intrigued. She is so monotone. The whole family is monotone. And I mean this as a compliment. I am
Same.
drawn to watching Meredith Marks on the TV. Lisa Barlow, this, that, the Wendy's, it doesn't seem like put on. Yes, okay, obviously you got to deal with Wendy's and blah blah blah, but like Lisa Barlow is still she when she flies off the handle and wants to call everyone to investigate this, and she don't speak bad about her. That she loses her shit. She's batshit. Mary is batshit. Like they are just
Oh, Mary is so good.
interesting, right? They are interesting people to watch. Bronwyn ain't going nowhere. She's interesting, whether you like her or not. So it's like I mean, so it's like, I don't understand how this is what you came up with. They're lovely people. I've had Erin on this podcast. She is lovely. Her publicist, one of my favorite publicists besides you, of course, I have ever spoken to. Lovely. You know what I mean? They're lovely. Sai was on here. That doesn't mean you should be on TV. You're lovely people. Wonderful. Like,
Agreed.
it's,
Agreed.
I'm
And that's the
sorry.
tough part. That's like when you're like, ooh, like I love Bryn. Like I talk to her all the time and she's love, and I'm just like, you're not, you're good. But the thing is, you're doing the whole like, I'm a sexual girl and I'm gonna do these
Hmm.
coming off so disingenuous and not like there's just not a lot of connections between you guys. You're forcing this Hamptons trip. That Hamptons episodes were so bad. I'm like, nobody wants to see the Hamptons in the winter, and nobody wants to see you guys trying so hard for there to not be a fight. Just let there be a fight. Like I don't
Yeah. And I don't know. It's like it's New York. People are crazy here, but I guess it's because like there's the media and like you are more savvy here maybe
yes.
than the average person living in Salt Lake, which I mean is not an insult, but like I don't
Yeah.
know. They're just authentic in Salt Lake. They're
Yeah.
just, and Mary, I do think Mary is one of the best housewives that's ever existed, personally. I
I,
absolutely love Mary Cosby.
I agree.
I think she is so, I don't think it's an act. I think she just is like, this is me.
She's the best and the best, like most improved housewife. Like she's doing the work. She's from the fact that she was on that Sprinter van, refused to get out of it, to now fully engaging, talking about her son, going on Watch What Happens Live. Andy used to like try to bleed, get a stone to bleed. Like he was just pulling, and now she's saying that she fell asleep during RHONY. She's funny. She's
She's so
resilient.
funny.
And she loves who she loves. She loves Angie. She rides hard for her. I'm like, wow, you've had a real, and I don't know if it's maybe getting divorced and separating from that man, but she's kind of finding her way. And her son's obviously going through something. It's very like, and her son and his fiance or girlfriend eating in their bed when she talks to them was like top five housewife moments.
I'm like, this guy's never moving out, Mary. Don't worry about that, sweetie. Like, who doesn't want to live in a big house where, like, you don't have to see your mother and the girlfriend or wife or whatever is in the bed with you and just like there's free food? Like, don't you worry about him leaving, sweetie. Like, it's never going to happen.
He's not leaving. He's not leaving.
Never.
So
And I
funny.
mean, she's like Ramona. Mary to me reminds me of Ramona when she's like, I invited whatever her name is, Brittany, because like I want her to see that I'm not poor. She's totally serious, and everyone's laughing, and she's like completely serious. Like, I want to prove I'm not poor. This is like Ramona Singer 2.0.
It's so good. It's
It's
so good.
great.
When she did the Met, was it her that did the Met Gala thing? And then she did was it her that did the Louis Vuitton little? She's like funny. And
She
her and
is.
Bronwyn talking fashion, and then that Britney woman saying costume. I mean, those scenes are, and like Britney's too much, but she like irritates Bronwyn, and Mary is like an irritator. So it's really like fun to watch. And they just have a real rapport, Heather and the bad weather. They're all like related. And there's like, and Lisa Barlow and Meredith look the same and they're unhinged. And it's just like, they're at that Indy 500, Lisa and Bronwyn trying to talk. It's hilarious. It
And like
worked.
Whitney, I think people find like Whitney, I'm like, well, does anyone realize like Whitney is actually one of the most deadly people on this whole thing? Like she just drops a little bomb. And I mean, she's finally being called out, but she too is great. She's great TV. It's like,
Mhm.
I love it. What do you think of Vanderpump in this fact that, the latest is that the old cast is coming back to do 3 weeks of filming just to like mix in newbies and then they're going to close it down and spin it off. And that will be the end. And apparently everyone is taking a huge pay cut just because it's 3 weeks. I mean, do we believe all this? Do we think this is how it's going to be? Do we even bother? Do we even care to have 3 weeks wrapped up with Lala and James? And yes, no. What are your thoughts?
It ended so good. And I know Ariana, I met her a bunch of times. I know Katie, I went to their sandwich shop. Like, I like to support the girls. But when you get to a point where you're so famous, she's in this happy relationship. I talk to her, Ariana's boyfriend, all the time because he lives in New York and we talk food. So I'm always asking him what to eat. So I
Mm.
think they're just lovely. They're lovely people. Ariana never wanted to be a reality star, even when she was on my old podcast. She was just there because Sandoval wanted to do it. And so when he turned on her, something activated in her and she stepped into a role that she never really wanted. She was always the girl with the least amount of followers on that show. She never did all the events. She always just wanted to work, be behind the bar. So the fact that she's like glowed up to be this super famous person, does she need the show anymore? Like, I don't think so. I mean, it's good for her to come back, get the money, and move on. But I just think that everyone's just getting too big for the show. So I'm like, why don't you guys just do what they did on Beverly Hills when they introduced Vanderpump? You have all of you having dinner, and then you introduce the new cast is waiting on you or something. And then we just are done with it. We don't need 3 weeks. We don't
We
need
don't
3 weeks.
need 3 weeks. I mean, I agree. Look, Ariana has a career now after it. Great. That's what happens. Luann has a career after RHONY. Like it just can't predict who's going to be like the breakout star or just not even the breakout star, but find a career after it. I agree. I mean, I think everyone else should just face the music that it is over. If you have 3 weeks, save your money. I mean, because I don't know other than that what your plan is, but I could do with a new version. Like I'll go into it like I see, like I really like really rich, or I liked the beginning when you're not really rich and you're like they were living in those shitty apartments and Tom and Kristen and like the cabinet's breaking and it's like, yeah, like they really can't afford to fix the car. It's breaking down on the way to work. Like this is true life. I mean, I'm all for a new, listen, there have to be the right people. And I hope I mean, look, any restaurant, obviously the people that work at Sir now, I'm sure they're all sleeping together, right? Like I'm sure this does exist. It exists in every restaurant everywhere. There's drama. So I'm seeing it with an open mind. It's just like, I don't know why they keep talking about how expensive the show became because, like, well, what about the OC Housewives? Like, that's expensive. Even Emily and Gina, this was seasons like this is an expensive show. Jersey got really expensive. Now it's over for a minute. So I don't understand that part of it. Like, why is Vanderpump? Maybe because there's so many more of them. I don't know.
I
I
don't
never
know.
understood that part.
It's weird because they keep talking about Lisa's salary, and I'm like, she's already an exec producer, right? So she's already going to get money on that end. So I'm like, I don't. What's the confusion? Because Vanderpump Villa. I don't. I mean, I don't know if you saw it. It's okay. It's
It's
not going to be
okay.
a tentpole for her. Like, so I think that what they could do is I like Southern hospitality. I know a lot of the boys on there. I think that Vanderpump Rules, like, I think Alex Baskin can look at that as like kind of like a little template because that's the kind of people you need. They're kind of in between careers. They're managers. They're in those shitty apartments. They're all sleeping together. They're attractive, so go out and get that. Get some actors, like get people that can, deliver the lines, like, and they're, hot. And, I think it's going to work if they just do